Hello and welcome to the STCfit Learning Podcast. I'll be your host today. My name is Jason Galea and I'll be joined by Ben Scott. Thanks for joining us on our way to creating 1 million positive outcomes in personal training by 2030. The podcast is brought to you by STCfit Learning's Coaches Collective, a premium business mentoring service for PTs who want to attract the clients they want, earn a higher income, and have a long, sustainable fitness career. If you enjoy the episode, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcasting platform. A 5-star review goes a long way to helping us reach more people just like you. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Glowing.
Yeah, so I'm going through a facial rejuvenation protocol. I'm doing a course of enhancement for my skin on my face.
But no, have you got a few things that you do to your face, or?
Yeah, so I use so this is all under the proviso of my wife.
Do you use beard oil?
Yeah. Pardon?
Do you use beard oil?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I love it.
Beard oil,
So
beard
jealous.
balm, bit of I use an exfoliator 3 times a week, and then I have a facial moisturizer, and I also use sunscreen. So that is the game changer. Yeah, so I used to be
Sunscreen, Dennis.
I used to be like, oh, it's like you can't do this stuff because it's not manly, I used to be one of those guys, and then it's just like gradually I'm like, fuck, man, my face is fucked.
What is manly looking like?
Yeah.
You wake up one day,
right.
you're just like, Jesus, I look rough.
Yeah, it's just like hitting the golf course, not using sunscreen after cooking your face. I'm like, I can only do this for a couple more years before I start looking 40.
Did you just call me a leather bag before, by the way?
Not yet. You will one day.
I'll 100% be a leather dude.
But you gotta,
yeah.
So
when it's summer, man, it's like I'll live without a shirt on. I'll live in the sun.
yeah,
Like at all times, I'm just like,
that's definitely got an expiry
no
date.
SPF. You reckon? Fuck.
It's like, oh, mate, we
Yeah.
met at the
Do I
gym.
look good now?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Well, I think it's as a result of the
how
sun.
old are you? Like 39 or?
Is that what it felt? Is that what it felt like last night when I asked you? That's the worst. That's
No,
the
you
worst.
said I had a good hairline, so I was like, you can say anything after that.
It's like, oh, mate, we met at the gym the other day. I was just like, 46? Holy...
Which one? Which one?
The philosopher.
Oh, yes.
He looked so good. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, God. I was like, I'm fucked.
Got some work to do.
No, literally, like we
I think I'm pushing shit uphill, just letting you know. Like, it's just like, I think I'm fighting to lose a battle.
I love that.
So no face care for you, mate.
None.
Why not?
Look at me. Do I need it?
It's perfect.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, honestly, nothing, man. Nothing at all, man. I wish I could say something
It comes with a cost, so I can't fucking see out of this left eyeball now.
Right, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like blurry.
Yeah.
Like if I do this,
It's actually
like
red.
Or over
you,
here.
yeah, like you look like you're murky. Like,
it'd be
it's like 720p. Like,
It'd be
Yeah.
interesting when you start sweating later. And like, is it going to sweat
I'm
down
hoping
into your
there's
eyes?
a way that when it hits your eyeball, it dissipates because moisturizer's not supposed to.
Just blink a lot, you'll be fine.
He's also hoping he doesn't sweat.
Sweating, what's that?
Sweating will happen.
You sweat when you work out?
Speaking of, do you sweat much when you train?
When I do, it's like once it starts, it's you can't turn it off.
Yeah.
But it's like, but it takes a bit to get there. But then it's like once you start sweating, it's just like, yeah, the heavens are open.
You probably find it now. You might sweat more now. But when you were powerlifting, did you sweat much back then?
It's weird.
For wrong reasons.
What reason?
Walking.
Which era of powerlifting? Like
Setting
when I
the
first
barbell up.
started, or when I was a fat piece of shit? No. Probably after like a heavy set,
Yeah.
I get sweaty, and then by the time you do your next set, you're not sweaty anymore.
That's wild, yeah.
But yeah, I have to like be very conscious to take a towel to the gym now,
Yeah.
which I used to be thinking, this whole towel thing's kind of overblown. I don't sweat that much, and yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You get off the machine, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I
Where did
don't
that come
rest
from?
for 7 minutes.
No, it's such a wild thing. I mean, like for me, like I don't sweat much at all.
Yeah.
My sessions never allow me to get my heart rate jacked up for long enough.
Yeah.
Right. To actually start sweating.
Yeah.
It's
Body
such a
doesn't need to cool itself down.
right. It's such a weird thing because a lot of people still tend to feel like the sweating is like hard work.
Sweat is fat crying.
Right. And it's like.
That's why I'm a fucking fat piece of shit then.
but like, it takes a while, to teach that to someone, for someone to learn that, So when they start training and they're powerlifting, for example, and they're not sweating, they're questioning, like, am I working? Could I be doing more? It's like, well,
Do you know
that's
what the
why.
secret is?
What's the secret?
2 minutes row at the end for distance, or 500 meters for time.
Yeah.
just put it at the end of their program and they go home happy.
Yeah. The end.
I worked.
Yeah.
I worked hard.
It's magic. They leave the gym like they get a little endorphin rush.
Just turn the heater up. Just turn the heater up. Come into the session.
Is that a fan? It's like, yeah, it's a fan. It's one of the portable Woolies heaters.
It's like, fuck, you're working real hard, man. It's pouring off you.
I used to have a client that if he didn't have shin sweat, it was like that was his
Shin sweat.
That was his unit of measurement for whether he was
I
training
love
hard or not.
I love a shin sweat.
Yeah.
Every time I've my
Do you like it as good as a
you look at me
chicken
like, what do you mean? I don't know. It's like it's a side effect hard
You
work.
track it? Like, you're like, oh, yeah. it's
Yeah,
a big
I
sesh.
track where the drop goes and everything, bro. Yeah,
shin sweat?
you not had it before.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Today's the day.
There will be
Close-ups.
Today's the day your
Close-ups
shins
of my
cry.
shins. I'm just going to pour a bit of water on them before we...
As I said, like, it's a nasty combination,
What, today's session?
potentially.
Look, it's all
Do
going to
you-
be predicated off actual ability, though.
Why are you,
Yeah,
why are you
no,
sandbagging
no,
him though?
What do you mean?
No, he's been on my.
I
He's
still
been
have
in my
fa-
corner.
I still have faith.
He's been in
but
my corner since yesterday.
There's a combination of burpees, assault bike, and thrusters. It's just never going to...
Burpees? He's off it.
Yeah.
Burpees.
What for?
Because...
Couldn't get more fucking stereotype. It's like,
Yeah, we were like discussing doing handstand holds.
we'll do
and all
handstands.
sorts of like nice stuff. Burpees.
but there's
Handstand
a
holds.
difference. We're not going to put handstand
Do you
holds in
remember
a
the
workout.
walking? You
Just yet.
walking, us holding your legs.
Oh, yeah, we're doing that.
oh, we doing that?
Yes,
With the-
man.
okay, yeah, all right.
Do they have
It's
dowels
going to be
there?
hilarious.
Today your shins
I am
cry.
getting injured today.
No.
It's a good chance.
Yeah.
My wife's
Well-
away all weekend, so I'm going to play golf every day, so he don't hurt me today.
I'm not going to hurt anyone. There's waivers. We'll sign. It's fine. Don't worry.
Did you bring your ESSA form?
So now I am kind of scared.
No, it's not my
I'm
gym.
Welcome to the studio, boys.
Yeah,
I love it.
We have Denis and Lewi from Robur Strength and Conditioning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, I don't want to be too formal, but I do enjoy the name. So we need the backstory on the Robur name, please.
The backstory on the Robur name.
That's
Well,
great.
here we go.
I'll leave it to Louis, the spearhead.
That was he first. Like in our first podcast, he introduced me as the spearhead, so I'm just holding that forever.
Keeping it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hates it.
It was
Yeah.
topical.
Why
He
did I
led
say
the
that?
way, right? It's like he spearheaded the situation.
But yeah, essentially, I think it first started with a discussion of myself and Aiden, who's the third member of Robur, and we were talking about like
Poor Aiden. Hey, Aiden.
Hey, Aiden, yeah. we're talking about, I don't really know, but like, oh, what would you name a business or something? And he said like tree strength or something. I'm like, tree strength. I'm like, trees.
Oh, is that why Aiden's not here?
Yeah,
'Cause he
yeah.
got
We were
names
just
like tree strength.
I mean, no. We're like, yeah, trees are kind of cool. Like they're pretty strong and like resilient and
Yeah.
robust. It's like what outlives a tree? Like not much. Like what living organism outlives a tree? Like not much. It's pretty strong, robust, stays out in storms. Well, yeah, that's kind of cool. But it's like that's a shit name. So let's think of something different.
Good metaphor, not catchy.
So yeah, it was just the same thing going in the route of like I don't know, synonyms and different words of trees and things like that. And then Robur came up, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? And it's a Latin word for oak, and then oak is in part a metaphorical extension for the word strength as well in some cultures in some ways. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
There's an oak bar, right? In powerlifting?
An oak bar.
Oak make powerlifting bars.
Yeah.
I would never fucking clue. I'm not a powerlifter.
And then like
International powerlifter over here.
and then like
international.
and then like at the time it was weird. I went down this rabbit hole. I'm like, I have to know everything about oak trees for this to be legit.
Of
So,
course.
so I was like, how does an oak tree grow? It's actually a really interesting process. So before it actually starts growing, it has like this single root that like burrows down really, really deep to find a water source, and then it spreads and it builds this huge base, and then it actually starts growing relatively quickly, so it has a massive
see.
base. So that's kind of, we sort of built this initial, I guess, what's the word, ideology around just building a solid foundation before you actually start doing the crazy feats that we see people do. So it's like, let's not just dive headfirst into being the best person. It's like, we need to build a foundation to actually get you there in a way that is going to set you up for success. So that's kind of what built the name Robur, is that whole
fucking
idea.
sick.
So
That's pretty
It's really cool.
yeah, so it's a little bit of a
When are the new
backstory.
tops coming out?
They are coming soon. So I literally, oh god, the t-shirts have been a nightmare. Finally got it done because we found the designs. We got the designs made, but the shirts will probably be within the next month.
Who are you getting them through?
Just through
Give 'em a shout
just
out.
through a website. No,
Hashtag.
just a website.
Hashtag promo code.
Just
a
it's done, it's
website.
done through me. It's done
Because
through
we're
me.
having
so
a fucking nightmare with ours trying to get them sorted.
It's been
Shout out to Fit Print. 8 months.
It's
Still don't have
it's
a
been
design.
about 4 or 5 months.
No way. I suggested we go through them.
It's been about 4 or 5 months. Like we've been through 2 other companies prior. One sent us a whole bunch of shirts with like the front print just like this.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, "You got to be joking! Like, what is this?" And then I watched one of them, and it all started coming off straight away. I was like, "Oh, it's garbage." So we sent those back, and then it was just this continuous process, and it happened for about another company again. And I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm doing it myself."
Yeah.
So it's just more drop shipping, but then it was finding someone that actually has high quality drop shipping and high quality printing, which we did find in the end. So they will be here in probably the next month.
Awesome.
Should be sweet. And we'll send some down to you guys for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you changed the tree as well?
Nah, so that was more. So that's like obviously our initial logo, but the shirts that we've gone with are a little bit more. What's the word? Like concept arty, just something cool, something a bit different, and it's just like a nice, cool graphic on the back that we've gone with, and it's just something different instead of just being just the logo on the front of the shirt, which we've got. I'm like, everyone does that. Let's do something a little bit different. That's maybe going to be a little bit like gym fashionable, if that makes sense. So
it gave me is it the Tree of Life? Is that what that? Got the heaps of roots on the bottom.
Yeah.
Similar
vibe. Yeah.
I was like, maybe they've changed their tree to be that. But
nah, it's still an oak tree. It's just a different.
Now
design.
I know the story. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
But they kind of look the same, right? I don't know. The Tree of Life could be an oak tree. We could just go with that.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
All right. So 2 episodes today, back to back.
Back to back.
We've already had some incredible conversations about eating chicken ass last night.
Oh, yeah, that was
Back to back. It was an interesting introduction.
Back to back chicken butts.
I still feel like you guys are judging me for this. And I don't know why.
A little bit.
Tell us about the chicken ass. It's good.
Yeah, when did that first happen?
It obviously first happened when I put it in my mouth. And I was like,
was there a moment in your
yeah.
life where it
When-
was just like,
Because
the first time.
because you actually brought it up before the chicken came. It wasn't like you just ate it and was like, are you Jason? You're not going to eat your ass? Can I have that? Like,
he can't reach me.
you actually brought it up before we went and ordered.
Yeah.
I love that you gave it to me. No, honestly,
It's very important to you.
I used to make these rice paper rolls, Vietnamese rice paper rolls. They're probably not even good. I'm sure you can make better ones. But anyway, used to make them and have roasted chicken inside of them. And so I'd buy the roasted chickens from Woolies or Coles, whatever. So that's kind of when I started eating roast chooks, right? And then obviously I'd tear everything apart, take the skin off, eat the skin, eat the bones, whatever. Just have the meat for the rice paper rolls. Your smile is this big.
Because I can picture him just tearing it apart.
That's how it is, right?
Cold to me.
So I'm
good.
taking everything apart, pulling all the skin, and I came across this end bit, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't really know. No one was there to ask, and I was like, putting my mouth in. It was like just sweet, fatty, meaty, chickeny goodness. You know what I mean? And that was it, man. That was the birth of the arse eating of the chickens. You know what I mean? So
that's when the title, Arse Eater.
Yeah.
It's the middle
not
name.
the only one that I like eating, but yeah.
Not to be confused with his OnlyFans handle.
I do like it, yeah. So that's the arse story, boys. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll never look at a chicken the same now.
Nah, me either.
I'm just going to look at it every time and be like, oh, Dennis would like that.
Send him a photo.
It's gonna call to you one day. You'd be like, "No one's around."
And you're gonna try it. Yeah.
You just have this taste. You're like, "Fuck, he was right."
He was fucking right this whole time. I've been sleeping on this.
No, it's really good. Yeah.
So, I may be completely wrong, but we had Ruby on a handful of episodes ago. I believe you guys do the similar.
Shout out Ruby, man. She's a fucking legend.
She's
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at her as one of the legends of what we do in our professional life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. Where are we going with that?
You guys do the same thing? same position, same role, or different?
Exact same.
Yeah.
Exact same. We wear
Similar
tight red
role.
shorts and white polo shirts.
Yeah, same role as in like we're physical trainers within defence, but we have a slightly different job with just the demographic that we train. So she's at a what's called an IET school, which is individual employment training. Yeah. Is that right? God, I should know this. Anyway, it's where they go to learn the trade skills that they have signed up to join. But prior to that, they have to go through their like recruit training, which is all the basic soldering stuff, on top of building a foundation for them to actually be able to move forward in their training career as well.
Yep.
So that's the demographic we work with. Is there people just straight off the street? Here you go, teach them how to walk, run, lift, jump, dodge, crawl, all that stuff. So that's kind of what we do. So we get them straight off the street, and then from us, they go to Ruby.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ruby has invited us to go do one of their sessions with the whole... We were like, hey, put us through a military session.
And they just... She
thinking
said
that
just
we
join
would,
in?
We would go to a gym and she would... Then she's like, no, just come. And we're like, so I need you to assess us today. Whether or not we would pass.
You'll be fine.
We'll actually finish the session.
What do you think? Depends
Is
what
there
you
like
do.
an initial
She
workout?
has a supervisor who is an extremely dedicated man.
Yeah, he's
and
good.
the man is he thinks about how he's going to structure things to the nth degree. He always comes up with ridiculously good sessions. So whatever you're going to do is going to be a hard one, a doozy nonetheless.
Yeah.
But you'll enjoy it. Are you going to be ready? No.
No.
It's like, because what
So I can't even prepare for this. Can't even prepare for it.
your shins will be sweating. they will be sweating.
Can't wait.
Shout out to Gormo. He's a bit of a savage. So You'll have fun. Yeah. It will not be... It'll be enjoyable. Maybe not during, but afterwards, you'll be like, I feel good.
Because I mean, like,
The endorphins.
Because in defence, where she is, where we are, we all still facilitate strength training, as in like with barbells, dumbbells, and whatever else. But there's something called battle PT that we have in the army, and it's just like, you're wearing your kit, your fighting kit, cams, boots, and whatever else, maybe a weapon and whatever else. And these are the sessions that people, the civilian world, would look at and be like, wow. Right, so I'm assuming you're probably going to do one of those. I hope.
Hey, that'd be good.
Otherwise, you're going to go shift barbells. It's like, how boring. You've done
Any
that.
excuse to dress up.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, if I could put the kit on. Just like emulate one of my favourite video games for a very brief moment. Even if it's got nothing, like I don't have to get to fire anything. It's just like, oh, that'd be so good.
Do you ever vomit in your video game?
No,
Not
not yet.
It'll be fun. It'll be good. And it's just, just think of it as like ultra GPP. That's similar to what Battle PT really is. It's just you're carrying, you're moving, you're jogging, you're resting. It's just constantly moving, and you're in cool uniforms.
And hopefully someone's yelling at you.
Yeah, and there'll be someone yelling.
Yeah,
Because you're
that's
not
what
doing
that's the only thing I think I like have the stereotype of just someone just badgering me the whole time. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It's
Jason's the guy that at everything you ever
I
go to,
get picked on.
Jason's the guy.
Yeah. I'm the dude.
It must be awkward.
I could be in the back, bro, and they'll be like, "Hey, there's someone back there."
I need
They'll
a volunteer.
Pull me to the front.
Big guy.
It's the
This
fucking
big guy,
worst,
come on.
bro.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just gravitate to the center of attention when it comes to like physical shit, and I could be as fucking far away and as silent as possible. And I'm like, he's gonna pick me, and it's like,
Because I just
You're definitely getting picked
I just
today.
stand next to him. I know.
You'll get chosen.
Yeah, the yelling, all that kind of that stuff is definitely there. But it's I'd say it's a little bit more moderated than it used to be in the sense of mainly because back years and years ago it was mainly just like circuit type training, battle PT, and running essentially. That's like, but that's mainly because that was what was available equipment wise. Logistically, it's like we got to get people to a standard. We just got to get them working hard in circuits, things like that. Now it's a little bit different. We have like full gym set outs with racks, barbells, everything you could really think of.
hammer strength. Chest press.
Not as much that stuff, but we make do. But it's more in that environment. You need to be or have a little bit of a different persona in the sense of a little bit more nurturing when coaching and teaching someone to actually move with a barbell or with some type of weight instead of just like, you're just doing body weight squats in a circuit, the type of thing. So there is the time when you're on and you have that persona of the the military instructor, and then there's also the hat of the coach where you're actually in there and getting a little more personal, getting to know them, making them more comfortable in that certain environment.
We had a podcast, we spoke, I think, at length about stress inoculation. There's a time and place for stress inoculation, and it's not when you're learning a new skill.
Yeah.
Like, it's not when you're in the gym. It's not when you're trying to get stronger, trying to get fitter. It's when the only time I think that we have in our job where we like, okay, this is the time period where we're going to try to inoculate these people, right, with stress by providing this sort of stressful situation environment. It's like, and it's only rare, really. Like only in these battle PT sessions, and where we are, we don't even get to experience that much at all because at where they are right now, it's point A. It's like they're still trying to figure out the culture. They're still trying to figure themselves out whether or not they even want to be there. Do you know what I mean? So where we are, we don't get much of an opportunity for that anymore. But where Ruby is, for example, she probably would to a bit of a higher degree for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of our job where we are is managing their stress levels in the sense because their stress is not only just the PT, it's they're in a brand new environment off the street, they're getting yelled at over with learning all the new skills where it's like weapons, navigation, whatever they're doing over the other side of the hill from the gym, their sleep's probably garbage because they're stressed as shit. The food is completely different to what they've been used to. They're learning all sorts of other stuff outside of the gym, so it's kind of making that decision on the day when they come in. It's like, how do they look? How are they moving? How are they feeling? What are we going to do today to sort of manage that stress? So.
That was a good ad, defense.gov. Did I get that website right? I just fucking took a stab at it.
I think it's got to be
close, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. Can we fact check? Make sure he's right.
Bring that up, Jay.
Yeah.
So outside of that, who are you training with because you're obviously online coaches as well?
Oh, you first.
I think the answer is not going to differ anything from what last night. It's like a diverse array.
Microphones went on last night.
Oh, microphones here, right.
So make it better.
Realistically, at this point, it's like, I'd like to say anyone and everyone. Obviously, there are people that appeal to me and people that I appeal to. And so I typically appeal to powerlifters, bodybuilders, perhaps people that are in the army as well. And that's kind of around about where I kind of work with the people that I have my clientele. Is just definitely a little bit different. And then Aiden as well has a different sort of clientele. So yeah. Yep. I can't say that Robur is just one or the other, or here it's like we're kind of this vastness of diversity. And I think that was the beauty of starting Robur. We have this thing where we talk about this collaborative sort of effort and everything we do. And what we value so highly is the fact that there's three of us. We're all completely three different people. You met Aiden. If you met Aiden, you'd be like, how do you guys work? Like we're such different people. We all do the completely different things, but yeah.
Somehow it works.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, we were similar. We've just become one person over 10 years. But when we
Yeah.
first started working together, we were both very different.
Yeah. So I guess for myself, like demographic-wise, of the people I mainly train, it started off as mainly CrossFitters. Because I was heavily into CrossFit at the time. And the goalposts for me changed training-wise, and that was mainly just work commitments. I was like, I can't train to the level I want to train to do that sport. If people want to call it a sport or not, I guess we can talk a little bit deeper into that later. But I'm a very big person of being able to walk into anything and being able to do it to a decent standard. So a much more concurrent style training. Yep. I'm still very strength biased because I love strength training myself. So it's more concurrent style training with a heavy strength bias. Same with my CrossFitters. I bias strength a lot towards most of those guys. Obviously, there's a few outliers where I'm like, you don't need to touch a barbell for a while because they're just stupidly strong. So that's kind of developed more into, I work with a lot of concurrent athletes with some strange goals, whether it's like, run a 18-minute 5K and squat 200 kilos within the same day or something like that, or special forces selection guys that are going off to do that, or operators that are within the trades themselves, and then CrossFitters on top of that, and as well as just some other sort of just like fun concurrent goals in that sense. Yeah,
that's sick.
Can we call them Karens? Is it?
You can call them whatever you like.
We'll call them Karens, you know what I mean?
Karens.
Just like, Karen likes to do anything and everything, you know what I mean? Like, we've both got equal parts where we've got people
I pictured
who just...
something very different.
Yeah, I was picturing like...
When you say Karen, I just think of complaining.
A middle-aged woman.
I think of bad reviews on Google.
Yeah,
I think of residence page.
Let's find a new name.
And just complaining.
Let's find a new name.
Everything
I'm sorry,
he just said, I was like...
with a sick goal.
Sorry for the Karens out there, but that's just what that comes to my mind.
Weapons.
I look at it, you just want to be a fucking weapon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know about Karen.
Yeah.
You just want to be a
There
fucking...
probably are
you wanna
Karens
be
out there that are weapons.
You want to be a
but I'm
heavy
saying
hitter.
as a whole. Yeah.
Do you know someone called
weapon-
Karen? 'Cause
weapon with a handbag.
You're like, I'll defend this Karen name.
Nah, just being very on the fence on this side.
No, I think that's probably the direction that I'm moving in.
Yeah.
At least training, but also it's funny, like you do 7 years of I'm a strength coach, and then you start asking people like, how are you going with your training? Would you like to do a day that's a little bit more movement-based, expression-based? And they're like, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Like, oh, so how many people have wanted to do this the whole time that I haven't given it to? But it's been fun, and we're going to do a full episode, and I'm just going to pick your brain basically on how you go about programming that in part 2. So make sure you watch the second episode as well.
We'll strap in. There's a lot to unpack there, so I'm excited. I love that stuff. But yeah.
All right, you ready? The pot's about to be stirred.
Stir it, my man.
Build this up.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Hey guys, hope you are enjoying this week's episode. If you are, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to head to the website where we have all our free resources, gifts, products, services, and merch for you guys to enjoy. All right, let's head back to the episode.
Compression expansion model.
What
Useful
about
or
it?
useless?
Useful to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely useful, boys. Yeah.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell it to the room. Tell me what the difference between compression and expansion versus systemic internal external rotation is.
Say that second part again.
So the difference between that
Yeah.
and like systemic internal external rotation.
Are we just talking about internal and external rotation, or
So go
I
into
mean, we've got joint actions, flexion, extension,
go into
abduction, adduction,
compression
right?
expansion first, and like what that model is, and then why you think it's valuable, and we'll go from there.
Right. It's a biphasic model. So first, I think it's good to start to kind of paint this picture where we live in a dualistic world. You know, there's you and me. There's hot, there's cold. There's left, there's right. There's internal, external rotation. There's flexion, extension. There's abduction, adduction. So understanding that everything exists in this biphasic sort of structure, right? Compression expansion then begins to look a little less intrusive, a little less scary. It starts to make a little bit more sense where we can start to, if we understand that everything exists in this biphasic nature, compression expansion then basically kind of just summarizes everything. So instead of using flexion, extension, internal, external rotation, instead of using a plethora of words, we can use 2 words. At the same time, we then understand that compression and expansion both occupy, compression then occupies extension, internal rotation, adduction, and expansion occupies the other. So it starts to almost it can simplify movement in that instance. And so when I look at expansion and compression, it basically allows me to see what's happening here, the opposite must be happening there. So if I need this to happen here, I need to express the opposite here.
Yep.
So that's why it's useful for me, and it's quite easy.
For a younger coach, a newer coach, what's an example of that? So to achieve, you look at something and you go, I need the opposite of that. What would you...
Right, so I think one that we always find ourselves, especially with the amount of people that we see at work, it's like, we typically tend to see a lot of people say posteriorly compressed, meaning that the backside of their body, right, the posterior musculature is quite compressed, quite concentrically oriented. You know, we've got a flared rib cage. We've got a pelvis that's anteriorly tilted. That then starts to present as
for the Belfies.
What's that? Sorry,
For the Belfies.
what's that?
Oh mate,
What are the Belfies? Do you know what the Belfies are?
glutes like that, you don't know what a Belfie is.
No, what are they?
It's a
I like
selfie.
us too,
It's a selfie with your butt in the shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
gotcha.
right. I like
The
that.
traditional-
We'll do one later.
The traditional
a butt
girl.
selfie.
Oh, but
Yeah.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Selfie. Right.
Yeah.
So we've got this posteriorly compressed person.
That's why our followings suck.
Not enough ass pics.
Yeah, no.
we've got the ribs up, we've got the pelvis anteriorly tilted. That then can start to present as this thing where this person has a hard time managing the center of mass, and therefore, say, accessing a deep squat can become a little bit difficult, right? We can then start to associate a posteriorly compressed skeleton with someone who perhaps loads on the posterior side quite a lot, someone who braces quite a lot, someone who holds their breath quite a lot when they do things, right? It's like when someone can't do a full depth squat, but they want to. I don't address their ankle mobility. I don't address their hip mobility. I address, okay, I see a posteriorly compressed back. Let me just kind of compress the front side, or let me expand the back side and compress the front side, drop the rib cage down, tilt the pelvis back up. Voila, I have a full depth squat. So in that instance, compression expansion has a lot of utility to provide a global outlook on movement. And it typically tends to, for me and for us, we find that it simplifies how we look at movement quite a lot. And we can but we can help people simply by looking at it from this lens, you know what I mean? So I think that's probably the easiest example I can give you.
It's a great explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we talk about particularly strength programming with people, like exercise selections, about progression, regression models, same kind of idea. You can't do that. Where do we train you in positions that you need to be?
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. So if you have someone with that like over flared rib cage, etc., it's like, hey, congratulations, here's an anterior load, go squat.
Yeah.
which is cool. And I think particularly, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on this as well, being an online coach, you have to be better at exercise selection intervention versus cueing.
Precisely.
Because face-to-face, it's like, hey, do this, do that, every rep, move them, all that kind of shit. Whereas, like, you get a video and there's, like, 8 cues you need to give someone that you could normally give over 4 sets. I've got to tell you, you've got to watch the video, you've got to remember, you've actually got to do it when you get into the gym. Versus just move that load here instead. Which is, it's so much more effective in an online environment.
Right. So in this, I agree. Like, wholeheartedly agree. You're absolutely right, man. Exercise selection interventions are absolutely like the policy, right?
Yeah, so the go with exercise selection, and it's like, it's more about, because you're not there to constantly cue, place them in position, and also you've got a mobile phone or whatever in between. If you're constantly being like, do this, cueing them, it's just like, what the fuck, man? So it's like, let's just remove that from the equation completely, and now we're just going to put you in, whether it's like a constraints-based approach for that movement, to put them in a position that's actually going to help them achieve the dictated goal.
Right, and so then looking at compression and expansion, it's only 2 words. We know what exists in compression, we know what exists in expansion, and so exercise selection then can become also a little bit more easier to choose, really, to implement. So yeah,
that's cool. I like it.
That's definitely how I go about it. It's definitely where I found the most utility in understanding that model.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I don't completely discard talking about flexion extension and in that sort of model. I don't discard it whatsoever, because you've got to understand those nuances. You've got to understand those joint actions to understand compression and expansion.
Yeah.
But then once you understand the actual model itself, then things start to get a little bit more simplified.
So do you think you need it if you understand all that other stuff, though? Because I've never used it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, like,
anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you have, it depends on, like, it's cool to simplify models, right? Because, like, that's the best way to learn. So if you got these, maybe a newer coach coming in, it's like, hey, just think of it like there's 2 categories, and then, understand this relationship and then go from there. But because we got educated at university, it's just like, know how the skeleton works and know your muscles, and then you'll be fine. You'll figure it out. But you don't go through that depths of knowledge in the Cert 3 and 4. So maybe it's contextual to use a model like this. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I would agree. The thing about certification and qualifications, and perhaps even uni degree, where they teach you you've probably heard it before, like a 2D sort of style of anatomy and a skeleton, but you effectively live in a 3D world. You know what I mean? Like there's not just sagittal, frontal, and transverse. We have a 4th dimension, that's time. Because that means if you do a bodyweight squat from the start to the bottom, you're going through all of those planes in that one movement. You know what I mean? So you're not just going through 1, 2, or the other plane. You're going through all of them. And so with compression and expansion, then you start to layer on the limb arc model as well. And then that starts to put a little bit more. So it can get a little bit more complex. And you're like, can you just not use that? Yeah, you can get. Absolutely, man. Why not? But it depends how it makes sense. We spoke about that Pat Davidson reel, and so did we. We had an entire podcast where we just broke it apart. And have you seen the recent one, Pat Davidson's one?
No.
He's talking about stability, and then gave his own little explanation of high ground, low ground stuff. Right?
Okay.
And on one side, you can be like, why would you do that? Why would you come up with more fancy terms and more vocabulary? It's just like, well, you know what, man? Like stability, external, internal resistance may appeal to someone. They might understand that.
Yeah.
However, low ground, high ground, right? Not stability might appeal to somebody else. They might understand that. So, understanding the 2D style of the skeleton may be enough. And it is absolutely enough for someone. And they're just like, I understand that. Cool. To me, I guess I was a bit of I'm a loser, I'm a nerd. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I want to know more, man.
Yeah.
So I learnt more, and I was like, oh, there is more. You know what I mean? Oh, I can do more with this effectively. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the kind of way I say it, and we'll talk about it a little bit in the next podcast when I talk about some energetic stuff. I think I look at the expansion compression model. It's super complex when you first see it. And you're just like, what the hell? This is just more noise.
Almost stupid.
Yeah, more noise for no reason. And you kind of have to put in a little bit of effort to figure it out and understand it. But once you understand it, everything's now a little bit simpler. And it's those things. Do you need it? Nah, you don't need it. But can it be very helpful? Potentially. Yeah. And especially, again, we can go down that end in the next podcast of when you are looking at certain goals and archetypes for some people of the position, we can go into position of rib cage and pelvis and how that's actually going to affect their performance. And now that might actually mean you need to make different decisions with exercise selection that's going to dictate positions that they're going to be more inclined to move into.
Yeah.
Because the same applies for performance, the same applies for building muscle and hypertrophy. It's like understanding what the ribcage pelvis does based on expansion and compression principles. Then you can understand how to effectively lengthen and shorten the muscle. You know what I mean? Like to a more nuanced degree, I guess. You know, do you need to go there? Probably not. You know what I mean? Have many done it before us that haven't cared about it? Yes.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things that like, and it's funny because you mentioned the other Pat thing. Like, Pat seems to have this tribe of people that is just like, when Pat speaks, everyone stops.
They used to be me.
And it's like okay, awesome. The compression expansion model is like great, and like listening to you explain it's like I do that day in day out just unconsciously, and I would just term it as train people in position. So it's like select a position that they need to be in specifically for the outcome that I'm looking for. So I think the problem comes. The type of person that's interested in the level of depth that Pat goes into is also at risk of or has a tendency towards then producing overcomplicated content trying to speak to their client who does not give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where I think that actually caused more team back and forwards than anything else, because it was like, but your clients don't care. It's like knowing is really important. Knowing like specific adaptations to specific loads of percentages and stuff is important, but clients don't care.
The reality is, it's like, you know, I'm never going to say the word posterior compression to a client.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about compression expansion to a client. It's like that just kind of lives in my mind, and that's just how I view the movement. You know.
Yeah. A lot of people do, though. Hey,
yeah, I bet they do. Yeah, I've not actually come across anyone that does because we're quite isolated in Wagga. We're like the only PTs there. But anyway, but absolutely. So in terms of like say providing information online, for example, you're right, man. People are just like, you're like, what? You can't just nullify the simple things that people already know because it's entirely versatile and useful. You know, just because this is more complicated doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah, I think it's also like in where we are with I think social media at the moment. Everyone is drawn to like the hyper nuance because it's new, it's different, it's, you know, everyone's done all this stuff before, it's been around for a really long time. What's this new thing? Oh, it's kind of the same, but it just sounds a bit different. It's more high, and yes, nuance is very important. Especially, I believe coaches should have a very good understanding of a lot of different nuanced things because it's our job, right? We should not like, you know, there's the whole fuck optimal crowd, but it's like you should still have a damn good understanding of what's optimal because it's your job, right?
Yeah,
like at the end of the day. We're a fucking PT. We count sets and reps. We write down loads. We select exercises. That's not that difficult. So don't be lazy and learn the nuance.
There was an episode you guys put out a little while ago. I think it was one of the first episodes I listened to. I think it was you, Jason. You were like, fucking hell, I can't remember. But it was one of you. You said that, you know, understanding anatomy and physiology to a degree is literally the biggest thing for a PT.
Yeah.
As a coach, it's like you need to know that inside out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amongst other things. But
I think
so nuance in this instance, it's like, it sits up pretty high.
Yeah.
You know?
And is everyone going to need that? No. Like there's probably only like once you start training, you know, upper echelon people who are already at a really, really high training level where you're like, fuck, where do I take this person? What do I now need to do to get them where they need to go? Now we've got to start being really, really picky with everything we do. Does everyone need that? No, but should everyone be afforded that opportunity? I fucking think so.
Yeah, I think you want those clients, like it comes back to the lazy thing because you want those clients that push your boundaries so you go and learn more. But if you have that mindset of like, oh, well, you're a Gen Pop client, you don't need this optimal, then you're capping their potential by putting them in a box. Yeah. And you're also capping your own potential by not expanding your own knowledge and skill set to facilitate this growth.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, right? You can go on either end of the spectrum. Like I just said, obviously you need hyper nuance for those very, very advanced athletes, but you also need a fair bit of nuance for someone who's a complete motor moron and can't move at all. You're just like, wow, what the fuck do I do with this person? They can't move. It's like, so it's, moron, I think that's a poor misconception within the fitness industry. It's like, oh, someone's new at as a PT or whatever, so they should get all the the novices that are completely untrained, and where they should, because it's great experience, and it's a very, very good learning curve for that person being straight in the deep end. But it's still going to be to a benefit to an advanced coach to get that person, because we've had people that have come into Army that we've had in a strength session.
Are we talking about that murder moron?
That dude.
That murder moron. It's like 45 minutes each.
And we were just like, wow, like, okay, cool. This guy's not an advanced athlete, but he's never left the couch, right?
Yeah.
And then you just like, I don't know. Like,
there's a lot of advanced athlete coaches that couldn't get that person on the bar.
Exactly right. So it's like the nuance is important for everyone, because we needed a shit ton of nuance to try and figure out how to get him moving.
Because what we then start to see is like understanding this sort of degree of complexity. We're able to take we have a lot of people and not enough time, and we've got to achieve an outcome. They have to achieve an outcome. They can't just be reduced to something that no one else is doing because they're not good enough to do it. Like so, we just put them in the corner and it's like, here's your kettlebell goblet squat tempoed to a box. Just do that. Don't even look at a barbell. Yeah. No, we got to get them in there. We got to get them training with the barbell. They got to get stronger. They got to be a part of everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like understanding complexity and nuance to a high degree allows us to go, boom, yeah, we're going to attack that, because we're just so much in our head that we can just kind of try, and we get them in there straight away, much quicker, right?
And I think the only difference between, like, say, the extreme novice and the super advanced when it comes to nuance is like that extreme novice, you can trial and error a damn lot. Like, you can trial and error heaps with a whole bunch of different things, and eventually something will kind of work, and you'll be like, cool, that worked. Yeah. Whereas with the hyper advanced person, you kind of need to know what's going to work in that sense, because it's like, you probably don't have time to fuck around with heaps of different things, because maybe they've got some deadline or timeline that they're working towards, and also they're going to be very, very damn good at a whole lot of things, so it's going to be really hard to then determine what actually worked.
Yeah. There's probably two things that I would add to that. The fuck optimal thing, that whole battle, it's just like my interpretation of that, and I think we sit on kind of the same idea here. You should start with what is the best possible program, let's say, that this person could have, and then pull back. It's not just like, what's the least I can give this person to get a result? It's like, okay, what if I had this person in a vacuum to be able to do exactly what I wanted, what would I give them? And it's this. And it's like, okay, they don't want to buy handles so they can do a neutral grip and like target the lat on a lat.
They don't want like a 16 kilo gym bag.
So it's like, fuck it, use the straight bar, I don't care. But it's like, I know this end and I can work you back from there, not the other way around. And I think that's really, really valuable. We spoke about Karen, so we think Karen is like the middle-aged woman who hasn't trained since she was in fucking year 7, right? Done any exercise. So it's like, for her, it's actually Susan's like our Susie Muffin Top is our like baseline. So Susie Muffin Top doesn't give a shit about that nuance. She wants to do 500 meters for time at the end of her workout, so she feels like she trained hard.
She wants to sweat.
So it's like, okay, how do we make her program the most optimal? But there is also consideration to enjoyment factor, time, frequency of training, that you can't change that. Like, you're not going to look at Susie Muffin Top and go, no, you're going to fucking train for 2 hours. Exactly how I tell you to train. Like, no, I'm not. Yeah. So I think on that kind of spectrum, it's what you guys are saying is like, you need to know this end, so then you can work back for that individual. And then from what you were saying, like training the advanced athlete, and your context is really interesting, because we work primarily with health club trainers, and they work with people who don't know what they're doing all the time, and they don't have a time-sensitive performance outcome. So most of the time, it's like, follow a regression model, squat a kettlebell, do a leg press, do a hack squat, and over 6 months, you'll be a better athlete anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you guys have a much more like, this is time-sensitive, we have to get this done. So that plays into it. But for us, what we try and teach in the second part of our Standout PT course is like, okay, you've had the client for 3 years. Now what? Anyone can get a fucking result in the first year, and you could probably fluke it for the second year. Now what? Like they're totaling 4.5, 5 times body weight in strength, like projections even. They've gained that newbie mass. They're in pretty good shape. They don't need to like do fat loss phases anymore. Now what are you going to do? And that's where you need to know this next level.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like you want to know, understand complexity and nuance at the novice and at the advanced level. I think that's where it kind of matters the most. I like everything you said there because it all kind of, and we definitely talk about this a lot too. It's like programming is a game of subtraction, like you were saying there. Optimal and how we see it is that which will be done. Optimal is that what that person can do. Anything, whatever that person can do and will do, that's going to be optimal. It doesn't matter what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Is it complex or not? Doesn't matter. Whatever they're going to do is going to be optimal, right? So I think like the fuck optimal debate, argument, whatever it is, I'm not sure. And did it kind of stem from the Angus Bradley post at all, or?
I think
Because I know he's a massive.
it became a
proponent of
thing
that.
off the back of him and Cass just arguing for an hour.
Yeah, so I don't even know what they're arguing about anymore. But to me, it's just like when I think optimal, I'm just like everything is optimal. Everything I give to people is optimal. Yeah. Is it the optimal way of doing an exercise? No.
But that's your goal as a coach, right? To make the program optimal for the individual.
Right. Yeah. And a program isn't just the exercise selection. It's frequency. It's what do you have access to? You know, how long can you train for, sort of thing. Like, you know, everything I'm going to choose to implement into that program is going to be optimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck optimal? I don't think so. It's like, let's go for optimal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Do your job.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those definition things that I think we spoke about. Everyone just argues over. If you have a definition, like Max came in and said that all personal trainers are Gen Pop. It's like, well, if that's your definition of what an athlete is, means they like dedicate, they make money from it. Then that's like, I can't change your point of view on that.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke last night about like. When I was competing, my life was structured around my training. Like that came first and everything else was built around it. It's like, to me, that's what an athlete does.
Yeah.
And if I have clients that are like that, I treat them like an athlete. It's like, this is the best possible program you could follow. Make your life work. Versus Susie Muffin Top that it's like, this is the best possible program I can write based on the constraints you've provided me.
My issue with the wording of fuck optimal is just that it's the wording of it, in the sense of the language we use is not interpreted the same by everyone.
Yeah.
So when you and myself or all of us hear the words fuck optimal, we're like, hang on, what is optimal?
Yeah, that's just
right. So we want to dive deeper into understanding why that language has been used. But there's also the other people out there who, whether they're a new coach and they're just new off doing their Cert 3 and 4 and they're getting out there, they might read that completely differently. They might read that as in like, oh, anything works.
Yeah.
So that's now what they identify with. And you might have just fucked up the next 6 months of their actual learning progression because now they're just like, oh, everything works, so I don't need to keep diving into this stuff to become more optimal, so to speak. So language is very hard because language also... there needs to be an understanding on where that language has come from.
Yep.
And interpretation is going to be different from everyone that reads that. So, but again, that's also, obviously Angus posting that is targeted at his demographic, which is, I'd say, probably potentially more coaches who are on that side of...
to get us to talk about
it. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's my only issue with it, is just language and understanding.
I think that's where I took issue with the Pat post. It's like, the opening line is, I believe stability is... It's like, sorry, dude, stability is in the dictionary. It already has a fucking meaning.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, language, I think Shallow pushes this a lot. Language is important and it can't be fucked with. So you can't just decide that, to me, stability means not falling over. It's like, well, that's not what the fucking definition of it is. You can't change the definition to then create your own model to complicate a system that already exists, in my opinion. Is there value to talking about what he was talking about? 100%. But I just don't, when I looked at it, I was like, I don't see the difference between that and internal versus external stability. Teaching the same model. Maybe it simplifies it for people who haven't been exposed to that, but it was the same thing, but you changed the definition of a word to make it suit what you wanted to talk about. I didn't like that.
In that same podcast that I referred to before, when we spoke about this post at length, it's like we just got to understand that, you know, who Pat talks to and who Shallow talks to is like two very different people. And it's like the things that Shallow says, the people that follow him and listen to him do so because they understand his point of view. They like to conceptualize how he frames things, and vice versa with Pat. So you can't just, you know, nullify a certain word that already exists with the definition, make up your own just to create your own model. You can't do that, but what he's trying to explain obviously makes sense to the people that follow him, you know, and he obviously comes from a point where he uses the compression expansion model quite a lot. So the high ground, low ground is very internal and externally stabilized sort of referencing, but it does have a little bit more leniency towards some of the compression expansion sort of principles, I guess, you know. So yeah, you know what?
He's just making something sound a little bit different.
But it's like, isn't that what we all do? Like, isn't that an opinion, right? Like,
just,
I mean, like,
people are just going to align with that, like we just spoke about before.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going to sit well. And
Yeah.
like the four of us, two might use it, the other two might be like, this is not.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's too many inputs. I already know this stuff in a different language. I'm going to be okay not using it.
And that's it. It's potential. It's
The old
again.
man in me.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, I think the more, sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you're right.
I think the more these things come out, I go through that filter of like you just did before. You're like, I already do this, so I don't need to, but I just do it this way. So I don't really need to conceptualize it anymore because we're trying to use that extra space for other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's only so many nutrition seminars you can go to learn nutritional science as a personal trainer, not as a nutrition specialist. So then it's like, all right, well, I need to find, you know, and there might be some really cool nutrition model that comes out, and you're like, I already do this. It's just in a different way.
Yeah.
So you use the space for something else. So, like we said before, well, models exist so people can use them, but they're not. They're always flawed.
Yeah. Or is that all models are flawed, but some are useless. Some are useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, because I was like, initially, I was not against that post, but I was just like, oh man, what the fuck's the point? Like, why are you posting this shit? And we had a good discussion about it, and I kind of reflected on that, and I was just like, look, at the end of the day, it's like you just said, before, you'll take that information in and go, is that relevant to me? No, I already do this in this way. So it's like, now what is that way? And that's all Pat's done. He's just told his way, and he's vocalized that on social media to try and, whether it's to resonate with people or to create topical discussion, things like that. And it's like, why aren't I doing that? I can do that, you know. And it's just, there's, again, we shouldn't be, and I guess I did it at the start, shouldn't be vilifying that, because at the same time, it's like, cool, you're just creating discussion and talking points for us to potentially be better and to maybe create either a better understanding, or to, either way, it's creating a better understanding, because you're like, that's not useful for me. I'm still going to stick to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Whether you
or now you've got another way to explain something.
Whether you agree with Pat or not, and it's, like I put this in my post about it as well, it's like, there's not many other people that have brought the same level of attention to exercise selection and exercise execution, particularly in the current era.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Jordan and him, like, that's the top of that pyramid, I would say.
I mean, whether you like him or not, Kaz Hansen,
yeah,
like, I
of
mean,
course.
it's
Kaz as well,
on another
Yeah.
level as well, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of leniency for those people too, because like we talk about it all the time.
They're
Like,
crazy now.
yeah, the meat and potatoes isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
got to go to a level where you start to play with those boundaries we talk,
Yeah.
and sometimes they try and knock the walls down a little bit and start talking about some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Or they just repackage some things with different language, and it's
Yeah.
like, their tribe's going to go, that's it for me. Whether it's because it makes sense or because it came out of the words of somebody that they just adore, and they're going to do everything they can to learn that model and go into bat with the pitchforks, and you know, you end up talking about the same thing in two different languages, and people just go like this, talking about the same thing. But it's like sets and reps are boring now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said there, it's like the meat and potatoes is boring now. Well, it is, but it isn't. But because when you say, you do a little bit of learning from all three of those characters we just mentioned, right, you'll realize that actually everything that underpins what they're saying and how they think is literally the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's like, well, that's really the meat and potatoes. So the meat and potatoes does exist, and they, if you meet them and actually learn from them in person, one-on-one, you will realize that the meat and potatoes actually is like the basis to everything, right?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
And then you just layer on the complexity and nuance. Stuff.
Yeah, but like, so I guess where I was going with that, it's like for them to just continue to talk about that for 30 years, though.
Yeah.
It's like they've got to layer on that.
Yeah.
You know, they got to layer on that and go, I'm going to go this way. Like the three of them probably have that same foundational thought process, but they've all gone about getting to that endpoint differently.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's where the arguments come.
Yeah.
Because it's like, put Jordan and Kaz in, like, you think about them, it's like, we're talking, the thought process is probably opposite, but the outcome could be the same.
Yeah.
And then that's where the tribes come.
The outcome will always be the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like the person got stronger, they got bigger.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to control themselves. It's just the thought process to select the exercises and get the person bought into the program. is probably a little bit different.
Yeah. Which then begs the question, and we talk about it all the time. It's like, why wouldn't you want to have that backbone to say? Why wouldn't you want to say and vocalize your opinion, your standpoint, how you see things? You know, the reason why they're so big is because they've done that.
Yeah, and they just hammer
like,
it.
well, right. And it's like if you start hammering, like as an online coach, as a sole online coach, it's like that should be one of your sole online jobs.
That's the message thing we'll talk
That's
about
the
last
message,
night.
yeah.
It's like if you're consistent with that.
It's like firstly you got to fucking know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you got to start talking
That's
about
it.
it. Right.
That's also the problem because
Massive.
guys like Pat, Jordan, Cass, foundations are so wide.
Sure.
Build a model, refine a model, refine a model, refine a model, went crazy, refined a model.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they got to that level. The problem, and this is, from an industry standpoint, as someone outside looking in and someone who mentors coaches, people see Pat's post and go, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And they haven't actually developed that by themselves enough that they can really speak in a way that's useful. They're just regurgitating.
Yep.
And then even in the application, it's like we've all heard it, like such and such coach pushes this message and this kind of approach to programming, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear like, yeah, I worked with it and they don't fucking do that. And you're like, oh, okay. So their whole thing is built on this like model that they sell, and that's their message, but it's actually not in their programming as well, because it's like what sells is different.
Yeah.
And we're in a time now where the consumer doesn't just want sets and reps. They don't just want calories, protein, carbs, fats. Like there needs to be some other thing for the consumer to want it, because most people now have been exposed to gym culture enough that's beyond, it's boring now.
So this further exacerbates the demand to understand complexity and nuance. It's like you have to. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you're saying.
And that allows you to place those three people's models on a continuum as well.
Right.
Because you should not follow someone and then do all that and get the pitchforks out against the other guys and then do that and then disregard that and get the pitchforks out against everyone else. You should take all of the valuable components of everything that you do from every model and go, how can I make this work for mine?
Yeah, I watched a coach like fanboy Jordan for a year, and a lot of people did this, to be honest. Fanboy stability, single leg RDLs, windmills every time they trained, like all of that, day in, day out, day in, day out. And then I think it was the compound performance guys, Jamie from Strength Culture, were all just like, just squat to get better at squatting. Within 2 weeks, memes about stability and how dumb it was. And I was like,
Yeah.
you just got a year's worth of results from it, and you're saying how good it is. Either you weren't actually doing it with your clients and didn't see any outcomes and you were just spewing information, or you've gotten results with it and now someone else that you're following now and you've bought into is talking about something else, you're just spewing that. I think that's the trap. Is like, oh, well, now I'll look over here at this shiny red ball and then I'll go over here at this shiny. It's like, understand the concepts, take from it what you need and continue on.
And effectively what that means is allow yourself to go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
It's like fucking dig deep, man.
Yeah.
You see that rabbit hole, go down, you know, and we're just like, don't go too far. Don't go too far. You know what? Just go as far as you need. Go as far as you can.
Yeah.
I think you got to get burnt down the rabbit hole to know when to pull back.
Yeah.
Right. I was
Like, all of this shit's so unnecessary.
Right.
When you do that, it's like, all right, you're too deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've done that. It's like we've gone down rabbit holes and we're just going all the way down, man. Like I'm scraping, digging, trying to get to the very, very end. You get to the end, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, how much of this is actually applicable?
And it sucks when you realise that. But
what changed in my programming? Nothing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. But it's still there in the back pocket if you do need to pull it out. That's the thing.
Yeah. So I liked it's such an interesting conversation because it's like, do you go down that way or do you not go down that way? It's like...
Yeah, I think it's hard for mentoring coaches. Like, obviously, we want to be like, don't fuck up like we did. You know, don't waste the time that we did and just put your focus here so you get to the goalpost faster. But every now and then, this is where you kind of have a needs basis. You see someone super keen, super this, super that, and you're like, all right, well, do a little bit of that, but just make sure you still kind of come over here and do this stuff so that you don't do what we did. And it's like, 7 years to get to where you could have done in 2.
Yeah.
But from a hard skills perspective, it's going to be hard to curb someone's enthusiasm, their passion, their need for, education, self-growth, all of that. It's like, fucking dig deep, kid. Grab your shovel out and fucking go for it.
Regardless, I think you're going to end up learning it in the end, like learning that lesson yourself of like, fuck, I didn't need to do all that.
As long as you learn that lesson,
it's an important lesson.
As long as you learn that, because I feel like there's still some people now who have been in the industry for a while, and it's like I just don't know if they've learnt that lesson yet. It's like learn the things that you're gonna like. Know when to pull back. Know when you've gone that far that it's not usable anymore. It's like I think we're past that stage now where you should just be able to regurgitate words that someone could find in a book and someone go, oh, that person's smart. It's like, hang on a minute. It's like, how many fucking outcomes have you gotten with people, and
that's the one
isn't that why we get hired for in the first place? And I think it's gone. So we went through that evidence-based age where we talked about it with Jamie on the podcast, and we talked about it last night. And those people are the ones that just like prided themselves in going into the rabbit holes and regurgitating the information. So you still got to get good results with people. And for us, you still should really do the business stuff and know where you guys are heading career-wise as well.
Yeah, I think that's the big missing link. So the guy that did the stability thing and then flipped to like just squat, it's like, were you measuring what you were doing? And I think that's a big thing people miss. They go down the rabbit hole, as you explained, learn all the stuff. What actually happened? When you applied it, what actually happened?
Did you even apply it?
Do your clients move better if you have them doing single leg RDLs with a windmill before they train? Did you see less presentation of back pain? Did you know what I mean? Like all of these things, did you actually see tangible outcomes from it? Or did you hear someone smart say it and post it?
Even then, so like it's easy for me to sit here and speculate, one person went from A and suddenly they're on Z. It's like, well, maybe they reached the end of that rabbit hole. Maybe that's why they did that. Do you know what I mean? But I think it doesn't matter how much you know, what you know. What you need to know, really what you need to know to get an outcome is that the person you're giving this to needs to want to do that. I think that's the most important part. You need to have adherence and compliance to the training program. Without that, it's like, to no avail, you can know as much as you want. So
we had a cool conversation last night that we'll go there again, but hopefully slightly differently.
It'll be different.
So based on all of this, right? So I'm a coach sitting at home listening to us going, okay, so I can't talk about evidence-based practices on my social media anymore. I need to know all this nuanced stuff, but my clients don't care. So what the fuck am I actually supposed to post to attract clients as an online coach?
I do everything that we're saying not to do. Literally, that'd be my advice. Do everything that I'm telling you not to do. Do it.
So what's your philosophy? We used the word message and stuff a lot last night.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy in terms of when you're putting out content?
Lately, I've taken an approach where I spoke a lot, meaning I told people what to do and I told people what I knew and how I knew these things. And then I really quickly learned that actually it doesn't matter what I know and how much I know. It's like, how do I get people to do these things? People need to see me do more things. Right. And so my philosophy is I need to show people what I do and how I do it. People need to see some of the things that I do, some of the efforts and intensities that I work at, some smiles, some sad faces, some grunts, some tears, maybe, do you know what I mean? Some gloomy sort of perspective, some bright perspectives, some cardio. I just want people, my philosophy is show people what I'm doing as opposed to tell them what they should do, because... Yeah. Does that answer that question? Yeah. I was about to digress entirely with content now, but
you slept on that. He slept on that because that was like we were trying to hit that. We were trying to hit that nail last night, and you just summed that up.
Okay.
You nailed that.
We rehearsed last night.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Good job, bro.
He had that. Check the notes in this guy's phone, right?
we talk about like direction of social media and a lot, and it is just a constant evolvement. And like you do look, and as you said, like scroll down your feed. You're just
it's
like,
the stockbroker thing. Was that last night?
Yeah,
Sorry,
the stockbroker
thing. It was
thing.
like I made this reference to you, Jace. It was like we're not just coaches and trainers and videographers and editors and content creators and business owners, and we're stockbrokers. We're those motherfuckers at Wall Street, like keeping track of the stocks and trading. We're like, oh my God, like how do we keep up with this? Like when are we going to sell? When are we going to lose? Like when are we going to buy? You know, I think that's where you're going with that. Yeah,
It's nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nutty, the world that the standard we have to get to now, and like the scope. So there's so many more things now that we have to cover. Like you can't just be, like we said yesterday, like can't just fucking coach people anymore.
And there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, oh man, we're losing our roots, man. Like we're just going to stick to what work. We're going to stick to the meat and potatoes. They're like, fuck, what world do you live in, man? It's like we're in 2022. It's like, this is the evolvement, this is the progression of social media, online coaching and programming, if that's the world you want to exist in. It's like you want to exist in this world, play by the rules. Don't complain about it. You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, all of it is getting someone through the door, but you can't sell shit twice.
Right.
So you still actually have to be able to get a result. And the people that are saying that, like, you just haven't evolved and you haven't moved with the times. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like 2018, 2019, people used to stop us at seminars and be like, oh, you guys make those videos. And it's like, they're fucking unreal. But like, because we had subtitles, we had headings, we had logos, we had...
You guys are fucking gangsters. You
Let's-
guys are G's,
let's
man.
to be honest,
OGs,
the
I love
OGs.
it, yeah.
Just to clarify that, we just had TAM.
We had no input in it. He just filmed us and made them.
Yeah. So now everyone's got all of that.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a HD camera. Everyone's got a wireless microphone. Everyone's got access to CapCut to make cool transitions and green bubble text.
Tell you
and
what,
shit.
man, how good was the revelation of CapCut? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Change the
Oh,
game.
the captions.
Sorry, go on, yeah.
But it's still, at the end of the day, going to come down to, because online coaching is really fucking hard work if you can't keep your clients. Because attracting them, particularly as it gets more and more saturated, which post-lockdowns accelerated the amount of online coaches so quickly, attracting more business is becoming harder and harder, particularly for new coaches that are coming up. The one thing that you can do differently to everyone is know all the stuff we've just talked about and actually be able to get results.
Yep.
And you'll keep clients for 2 years instead of 3 months.
And effectively, sorry, go.
It sounds so cliche, and I'm sure it's been said before, but I think when it comes to like the content, the online persona, the way you deliver things, your message, it's so cliche, and everyone says it, but just be fucking yourself. Like people smell bullshit. Like you can see when someone's posted something and it's not them. Like I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. Like I'm sure you guys have probably posted stuff where you're just like, you post it, you look at it, you're like, nah, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And then you go and change it or something like that. But it's that importance of just not trying to be the other guy. Cool. If you like the way their content looks, make it look similar. If that's going to help you create, if that's going to help you create stuff, it's. But at the end of the day, you are you, and people are going to come to you, not them. So you need to show you, and then also make it relatable to that other person.
So we had a conversation. A big part of last night's conversation was like, yeah, but how can you evolve your message and change your message and not confuse the consumer? And that was a big part of it. And I think that sums it up. You're not going to change that much as a person. Maybe what you do changes. Maybe how you approach training and all that kind of stuff. So that I sat on pulling out of nationals last year for 2 months. And was like, fuck, if I don't train for this, how am I going to keep coaching people? Who's going to want to work with me if I'm not a competitive powerlifter anymore? If I'm fucking running? I've been calling cardio the C word for 10 years, and now I'm going to be like, hey, now I run. Like, what the fuck? All that happened was all the people that are starting to come to me all are in the same stage of life as me. Like, I only want to train for an hour. I want to be able to do everything, not just one thing, and I still want to look good. It's like, I didn't change in terms of my personality and what I was putting out. Just what I was doing was, and that just attracted similar people. So it's, I think when people that are evolving get scared about like, oh, but I only want to talk about, if I don't talk about bodybuilding anymore, then who's going to want to train with me? It's like, well, what are you doing?
Maybe I will do that. Maybe I will start CrossFit, mate.
I'm telling you, bodybuilders come across and make...
talking sweet words to me last night. Like, bodybuilders make the best transition. I'm like, oh, really?
They say that about everything, like powerlifting.
Probably because they know how to do movement really well.
That and you're fucking strong.
Yeah, lots of muscle.
The larger the muscle, the more potential.
Hey, you're gassing me up. Wait till we get to the gym later.
Yeah, let's see how all that muscle goes on the rower.
Yeah, and I think with the be yourself thing, the other thing, it's the same as training. Like, if you're only going to push something you don't enjoy for so long.
Yeah.
It's like, go and make something that you kind of don't like and now try and keep recreating that and post it on social media. I guarantee you'll probably delete Instagram within 3 weeks.
That's why Jason and I never talk about nutrition anymore.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of the message thing, because we were talking about like changes, like how do you keep portraying that? I think the pillars of that message stay the same. Like the outcomes that you're delivering are slightly different now, but it's like there's still no shortcuts. There's still long-term training philosophy. It's still a holistic approach to training. It's still trying to optimize the approach for each individual person and treating them different from the person that comes in next to them, still wanting that same outcome. Like I think that message is still the same, and that's what is the constant that you can deliver all the time, rather than the person just like, oh, we're doing keto now, and then we're doing the carnivore diet, and then we're doing this, like, or we're doing stability's this, and now it's stability's bullshit. You just got to do the movement. It's like your message is changing like the wind.
Yeah.
And that's when people can start to see, that person doesn't have solid foundations with what they're trying to deliver for people.
Yep.
I think those tangible outcomes can change as we change.
Yeah, definitely one of the things that bogged me down for a very long time was trying to make sure not to change with the wind.
Yeah.
And it's like, although we can speak it in this way where it's like trying not to change like the wind, but I'm saying, hey, me not changing like the wind, me trying not to change like the wind bogged me down for such a long time.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, who cares about what your message is? Like, just be you. Whatever you're into right now, talk about it. Talk about it at length. Yeah. Be passionate about it.
That can. It's, I think, just like how you deliver that should be the same.
I think the difference is what you're about at the core and knowing what your values as a coach are. Like we talked about last night, like we're very heavily on client autonomy. That's not going to change.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's
those
a good example.
things.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Get him, Ben. Get him.
And I think you guys did the value compass week and standout PT. It's like Jason and I, if we sat down, our value compass would still be the same.
Yep.
Same core problems, same model in terms of approach, like the pillars of our business are the same and the outcomes are the same. They're in terms of what their core problems actually are. Because the core problems of the people we work with, except for Jason's competitors and my competitors, the rest of our clientele, look better naked, feel strong, perform better. And know what they want to do in the gym and feel like they're making progress all the time. They're even typically more important than getting the outcome. Because you can go to any number of personal trainers. Why do they hire me, not you? It's like, well, personality for one, and then someone else who's just got a spreadsheet program, that'll get you results, but I can give you the confidence that you know what you're doing when you go into the door. I can give you that autonomy. I can give you a sense that everything I'm going to do in this is going to show progress, and I have tangible measurements of it, blah, 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 blah. Jason and I both do that. But ask anyone on the street looking at our Instagrams, we're not the same coach. But that core model of what our business is about, we talk about mentality, training, nutrition, recovery, programming. All of those things are always covered. It's just my programming now includes movement, power, speed, conditioning. Jason's doesn't. Mine was founded on squat, bench, deadlift for a long period of time. Jason's wasn't. But it's the same thing down the middle. So I could, theoretically, change over the next 6 months and become a bodybuilding coach, but keep that exact core. It'd be exactly the same. And that's why you have powerlifters and bodybuilding competitors.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the foundation down the center is the same.
Yeah. Whether this throws a bit of a spanner to the conversation, I'm not too sure. We'll see. At 29 years old now, I've been in therapy for a little while, and it's only just now finding out who I am as a person, and that comes with finding out what my actual values are. Yep. And it's like, until you know that, it's like I'm saying that because I'm like, I've spent 29 years alive and I haven't got a clue who I was, right?
Yeah. It's
like until you get the opportunity where you actually find out who you are, what your values are, then you can start to establish values in a business. Do you guys feel that the values in business have some sort of relatability to the values as yourselves as humans?
Yeah, and if we don't line those up, work sucks.
Right. And it's like, I'm 29, man, I'm only just learning what they are. Do you know what I mean? So how do I get it? How do I get
I learned
mess-
those at 32, bro.
Right, see, and that's where it's, sometimes I feel like I place a lot of pressure on people around me saying like, try this X, Y, Z, but it's like, really, it comes down to, hang on, do you even know you? Do you know who you are? Have you found yourself yet? Once you do that, then maybe you can start talking about values for a business. Then maybe you can start talking about actually being niched on value pillars. You know what I mean? Because I find that to be quite hard, and that's where I found myself to get bogged down in that, like thinking I've got to be this certain way, I've got to have these values, I've got to think a certain way and say a certain thing. But it's like I didn't have a clue who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, just do everything.
Sometimes
at some point, it's going to hit you like a fucking steam train, and you're just going to be like, whoa, okay, this is not what I'm about.
Sometimes you got to try things to see if it hits too.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about it. It's just throw the line out. You get a nibble. Maybe it's a thing that you like. Run with it. But if you don't know why you hold your life the way you hold it and what makes what's supposed to be made up of it, that kind of keeps that fire in your belly, it's going to be a fucking long road for you.
Yeah, find that out. Find out that piece of information rather than distal and proximal attachments of a muscle.
Yeah, well,
like
that's it.
It's find out the values,
because there's a reason why you like that, and it's over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like the reason you froth education and go down these rabbit holes is because you probably growth and personal development probably sits pretty high.
Right.
And it's like when you don't see your friends and family for a while and you feel sad, it's like because you probably relationships are really important.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like get these in check first because it will make you understand these, and then it's like when things don't feel aligned, you're like, okay, well, which pot am I not filling up right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I need to fill this one up.
Yeah.
So,
Both coaching and the personal training development programs we run, mentality is the pillar, and it's literally identify your values. And the thing that we present that for buy-in for the other people is, where would you be if you just did the shit you said you were going to do right now? And if we all just sat back and went, Jesus, like, because all of us could have done more if we just done the shit that we said we were going to do.
Yep.
The only way you'll do it is if you can attach, well, not the only way, but a fantastic way to do that is actually identify why that thing's important. But it's not to get paid for most people. There's an attachment to a core value that I can express through this.
Yep.
And if you find that, then the way you talk. So like one of mine is, so say Jace's example of relationship building. Imagine having relationships super high on your hierarchy of importance, and you just talk about sets, reps, macros, macros. And you get all these random people. You don't put any personality into anything you put out, and you just get random people, and you don't actually connect with any of them. How's your day? Fucking horrible. Versus, I'm going to put up this post calling out Pat on my, we spoke about this, why don't you comment that? It's like, because I don't really want to have a conversation with Pat. It's actually fine. Like, it's not hurting anyone. It'll probably help more people than it'll hurt. That's fine. But if I put this up and that last little bit says the program looks the same, the client doesn't care, the person who resonates with that, just build a relationship. And now when they're like, hey, can I come out for a face-to-face session once a month? I'm like, fucking oath, because I like you. And I'm okay for you to come to my house and train and us hang out for an hour. Like, I'm in. So I think all of that's really, really important. Would Jason and I both have contribution really high on our list? Would we have done 120 episodes of the podcast with 0 sales if we didn't care about contribution? No.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been fucking just draining. Why didn't we start TikTok earlier? Because we wanted to contribute to people's lives, not dance. And then it was like, oh, now it's starting to shift to information, value-based content. We're in. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
All right.
Sweet.
Episode 1. Break time. I believe we have
cinnamon
rolls.
Scrolls,
fucking
buns,
in.
whatever
Cinnamon
fuck
buns.
they are,
Food.
yeah.
Called food. Sweet treats.
Need those
Gains.
carbs for this workout. Carb load.
In case people only listen to this one and not the next one, Instagram handles, website stuff. How do we find Robur and you guys?
Denis_Savaki, Sovaki. Don't mess it up, otherwise you're going to find me. Otherwise, it's just Robur. If you go to Robur, the ROBUR, you can just type in Robur these days, hey, and come up with us at the start.
First page on Google.
Those SEOs are fucking...
That's it.
But website robursnc.com. So go on there. If you're interested, there's a free little gift there if you want to jump in, and you can find me at the Crosslifter on Instagram.
Fucking love that handle, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
The cross lifter.
Yeah.
I hope can make it to a standard that I can refer to myself
There's
as
no
a
hope.
crosslifter.
You will.
Yeah.
You better.
We'll see.
The camera's on.
It's fresher now.
You
Fuck.
will.
You will.
100% you will.
All right, we'll
Thanks,
see you
guys.
next week, part 2,
Yep.
and you guys in 15 minutes.
Love it.
Let's do
Lovely.
Cinnamon roll time.
Thanks for tuning into the episode. Don't forget to like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you loved it, and share it with somebody who you think needs to hear it. Don't forget also to head to the website for all our free resources, products, services, and merch. All right, see you next time.